So here you are on Waterpenny Farm. There's lots of vegetables. There's lots of people who come and go and interact with the farm. There's lots of work to do. In the year 2000, my parents started a vegetable farm in Sperryville, Virginia. But now it's 24 years later, and here I am to visit for a couple months in the summer, and I'm trying to make a movie about the farm. There's lots of angles you could go at when you're making a film about something as complicated as a farm. This film will include everything from interviews to music videos to discussions of growing methods to some more whimsical elements, as we try to piece together the puzzle of Waterpenny Farm. This puzzle will be missing some pieces, and I couldn't possibly do a complete overview of the farm in the amount of time I have. But this will just be a glimpse into some aspects of a summer on Waterpenny Farm.
What's a waterpenny? This is a waterpenny. Waterpennies are aquatic beetle larvae that can only live in clean water. Their presence in a stream indicates that the ecosystem is healthy. Our farm is named for the waterpennies we find in the North Fork of the Thornton River, which borders our farm. We farm in an ecologically based, sustainable way using organic practices. This allows the waterpennies, and therefore our local ecosystem, to thrive. Rachel Bynum and Eric Plaksin, Waterpenny Farm.
All right, let's get to know Rachel Bynum and Eric Plaksin. Let's get to know my parents. What are your favorite things about farming, Mom and Dad?
I like to be outside. I like to have the chance to see the season progress. And I like how each year is similar, but then each year is also quite different.
For me, I mean, what I like about farming as a job is it's work I enjoy that I can put into a context of doing something I think is important. And so I feel like we're growing good food, we're doing it in an ecological way, and I like that we're part of that movement, but I also just like the daily work of what it takes to accomplish that.
Yeah, I like at the end of the day, seeing what you've done. That can be a very good thing. And I also just think it's beautiful.
And I like the food.
Yeah.
I think the food that we grow is some of the best tasting food, and that would be one of the hardest things if we ever stopped farming or did something else. Just not having access to all the fresh food that we've grown ourselves would be hard to get used to.
Yeah. And we also get a winter off. That's the other thing that I like about farming. We have a seasonal job. It would be hard for me to transition to a straight 40-hour-a-week kind of job at this point in my life.
Why are you farmers?
Our story is that we met when we were in college, and we were both interested in environmental things to some extent. Eric worked at a little college garden that was about an acre, and I majored in environmental studies. Eric was a religion major, and that connection for me of the environment to humans was a big part of it. And wanting to do something that would have a tangible impact that would be a positive way of spending our time that we would enjoy.
Right, yeah, for me, for a long time I thought I was going to be a math and computer and science type person. It was really late in high school, early in college that I started to learn about other parts of the world, other ways of thinking, and I realized I just enjoy being outside, that I didn't want to be somebody sitting at a computer all day, and farming was a way of having a job where I'm able to do work I enjoy, be outside for a good part of the day, and also make a living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, check this out. So it was a day where the sky was just all pure blue. So I took all these videos of the different plants in front of the blue sky, and then I could take out the blue and I could layer them together like this in this cool little animation. All right, so we've heard so much from Rachel Bynum and Eric Plaksin about the farmer perspective on farming, but now let's hear what the interns have to say. Let's interview Bel. Bel, what is your name?
My name is Bel.
What are your favorite things about Waterpenny Farm?
I like that this farm uses sustainable practices. I like that we're given like a lot of trust and freedom with our days, I think, just because of the way it's set up. But also my favorite parts are all of the sort of creative tasks like picking rainbow chard and flowers and bunching flowers.
What is your favorite vegetable?
I used to be way more picky with vegetables, but being here, like, there's like always excess of vegetables, and it's there, so you get to try new things and like try new ways to cook them. And I think it's hard to pick a favorite. There's definitely like iconic vegetables that we've had a lot of, such as zucchini. I've become really fond of, and I didn't used to be a zucchini person. So maybe zucchini is my favorite vegetable. Or potatoes. Potatoes are really good too.
What is your perspective on the intern-farmer relationship, or what do you think about my parents?
I think that they're pretty hands-off, but in a good way that makes you feel like they trust you to just figure it out and get things done. I think that if you want to learn more from them and get to know them better, you kind of have to like take the initiative yourself to ask them questions and get to know them and learn from them. But I think that when you do, you can learn a lot, and they're great people.
What do you do during your time off?
I explore all this beautiful world all around me. There's Shenandoah National Park. You can go hiking or just driving the Skyline Drive. There's a nice river to go swimming in. I go swimming in the river a lot. And mostly just like wandering around all this big open land. It's like just a great big playground here. So it's nice. And since I think working outside all day makes you just want to stay outside and get some play outside too. It can't be all work. You have to play outside too. So I play outside.
What is your perspective on the intern-farmer relationship?
Well, we started off learning to farm at a place that hired interns who were not even interns, they were just workers. We were workers. So we decided that when we started our farm, we wanted to have people who were more deliberately interested in learning to farm and learning about farming.
For me, thinking about interns, similar to what Rachel has said, I mean, we call an internship because we're thinking about it primarily as educational. I think it's the kind of thing that it benefits everybody to know what it's like to grow food and sell food and try to make a living doing that. I think it's a valuable kind of experience for lots of different people to have, no matter what they go on to do afterwards.
And it keeps it fresh for us, like having people who are doing this for the first time and seeing how beautiful, this greenhouse is beautiful to us, but when you first come into a greenhouse like this, it's very exciting. It can be all of the things. So in a way, it keeps it new for us each year. Having that aha moment, seeing that happen again and again is fun.
And then echoing what Rachel said, we do sort of need to explain everything anew most years, even if we have some returning people. We never have all returning people, and it does put you in a position of saying, this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing that. And it makes they might ask a question, or you might realize there's a job that people don't like, and so is it necessary or can it be modified? And so sometimes we end up making little changes based on the fact that we're in a position of explaining what we're doing and why we're doing it to other people frequently.
It takes a lot of work to run a farm. You have to work a lot when you're a farmer. But you can't work all the time. Sometimes you have to do stuff that isn't work. The farm talent shows are the chance for the farmers to move from the field to the stage and show off their talents.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, don't quartets usually have 4 people? And there's just one Eric Plaksin. But just for a minute, just imagine 3 other Eric Plaksin. And how great that would be. I mean, there still wouldn't be enough for everybody who wants one, but there'd be more. Anyway, this is a song about picking watermelons and how it's hard to decide if they're ready or not, and I've sung it many times to myself, by myself, and I find it really entertaining. And either way, it'll be over in a short amount of time. Okay. Whoa, watermelon, watermelon, vine, vine, whoa, watermelon, watermelon, back in April, I planted a seed just one seed. Everything that a seed needs sunshine and water. Treated it like my own daughter. Watermelon growing on the longest vine. Now I think there's one ready to pick. Let's pick it, but I don't want to pick it too quick. No, what if it's not right? Should I double check the phenotype? Watermelon growing on the longest vine. I had such big hopes in the spring. I said we'll eat watermelon, yum yum, dance and we'll sing, yum yum yum. Now at harvest I'm all full of doubt, 'cause I don't wanna throw it out. Should I wait one more day? But there's a groundhog living near the field. Big groundhog, his appetite could really hurt my yield. Yum, 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 what should I do now? Somehow I don't have a clue now. Watermelon growing on the longest vine. Whoa, watermelon, watermelon vine. Whoa, watermelon, watermelon vine.
Nicky P out in the rain, here to film for the Waterpenny Farm movie, The Summer on Waterpenny Farm. Woo! How did you end up here at Waterpenny Farm? Okay, Mom, why don't you tell us about the flowers on Waterpenny Farm? What's the deal with the flowers on Waterpenny Farm?
Well, the first flowers that we planted on Waterpenny Farm were actually perennial flowers that we planted in the area to my left.
These perennial flowers started out the pattern of trying to have stuff bloom during the whole growing season on the farm. They pick these flowers to sell at the farmers markets, but the flowers are also an important part of the biodiversity of the farm.
As I'm looking towards you, I can see 3 different kinds of butterflies, and I can see bumblebees and honeybees. Yeah, I can see the different skippers. It's really amazing how the biodiversity of the flowers enhances the farm. We want to have food for pollinators here all the time because we need pollinators to have vegetables on our farm.
The flowers are also habitat for creatures that eat pests.
I can see a spider web over there, having safe places for spiders and other beneficial insects like praying mantises and ladybugs, and lacewings is also really important. When we first started the farm, I didn't realize that I would begin to enjoy flowers more. I really thought we would be more of a vegetable farm, and I thought that flowers were kind of silly or not necessary. But as I've been doing it for longer, I realized that they're an important part of both of the aesthetic of the farm for the people who come to visit it, and for us, for me and Eric and our workers, to have the presence of the flowers. So I love the flowers, and it's just magical to see the variety of creatures that enjoy them. We have We have them all over the farm in different places. You can see it's a little bit shadier here. It's a good spot for this Rudbeckia. Rudbeckia triloba is really nice for some pollinators, different pollinators, more like small butterflies rather than wasps. And then we also have some mountain mint growing here, and these late blooming asters are here, as well as the goldenrod, which is an amazing native pollinator plant. And I like the way that it just is wild and naturalized, and we just gradually have curated it to keep the native nice flowers that we want to have, and it's a fluid, moving, growing garden. So I like it. It's one of my favorite spots, actually. Well, this is our newest garden on the farm, and we're going to have the idea that we'll expand it every year now. In front of you, the closest to you is the bright red. It's a kind of celosia that is really attractive to wasps and bees and butterflies too, and that will reseed. It's an annual plant. And lower down below that is a kind of milkweed called butterfly weed, which is a very important plant for things like monarch butterflies, and also a great pollinator plant, great for bees and butterflies. I've seen a lot of fritillaries. Right in front of me are this Tithonia, which is the Mexican sunflower that's orange, and then these tall Maximilian sunflowers. They'll grow next year, but taller than I am, and they'll come back again and again, and they're just really fun to have. So I'm happy with this because it shows a little bit of what is on the farm right here outside, where people can see it when they drive up to get their vegetables. And I really love this spot. That's most of what I have to say. I'm gonna clap.
If I were a waterpenny, I would live in the water, and I would go and hide under some rocks, and I would crawl around and get ready to turn into a beetle. Then once I was a beetle, I guess that would be it. As a kid, I was really into entomology. I maybe knew more about beetles than I do now, but I think it's okay. I still know I get the point of the waterpennies. They're a sign that everything's going all right. So if you can find waterpennies, then then the river's all right. Okay, now let's put my dad in a tomato field and have him talk about tomatoes. Dad, how do you grow a tomato? What's up with the tomatoes on Waterpenny Farm?
All right, here we are in one of our tomato fields. It's September 5th, and this is our 4th planting of tomatoes. We plant tomatoes 4 times in order to try to have tomatoes as long as we can. So our first planting went out in late April, and we started picking that a little bit late June, early July, and then this is our 4th planting, which is just coming in now, which hopefully will give us tomatoes from now through the fall. And then we grow all kinds of varieties. It's about 20 varieties of tomatoes that we grow. You can learn a lot about different tomatoes and how the yellow and orange ones are a little sweeter, and the red and purple ones are a little stronger, and the pink ones are kind of in between. And it's probably the single most important crop on the farm. We saw a lot of tomato plants in the springtime. People enjoy getting the different varieties from us. They know that we also grow most of the varieties that we sell, so we're familiar with them, and we think that they do well in this region. So we're selling a lot of plants in the spring, and then a big part of our stand and a big part of our on-farm sales are tomatoes also. If we had to identify one crop that was the most important to our farm, I think that tomatoes would be that crop.
Okay, and what's the deal with the tractors on Waterpenny Farm?
All right, so I am Eric Plaksin. This is me sitting in one of our 3 tractors that we have here at Waterpenny Farm. Ready? Rained every day on our farm for a week or so. Had 12,000 transplants that had nowhere to grow. Now the sun is back out and we're ready to sow. We're gonna mow it down, till it up, plant it out, PTO. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh yeah, hook up my PTO.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh yeah, hook up my PTO.
Whoa, whoa, PTO. 2005 Kubota, 65 horsepower. Put it down in creeper gear, go 1 mile an hour. Kids on pogo sticks are passing me, 'cause I go so slow. When I mow it down, till it up, plant it out, PTO. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh yeah, hook up my PTO.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh yeah, hook up my PTO.
Whoa, whoa,
PTO.
You could buy yourself a tractor in 1892. Then by 1914, you could get a PTO too. Nobody's figured out a better way in 100 years or so. We gotta mow it down, till it up, plant it out, PTO. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh yeah, hook up my PTO.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh yeah, hook up my PTO.
Whoa, whoa, PTO. And that pretty much finishes it, and so we have a few things that we use a lot of times.
Wholesome food and a healthy environment. We use ecologically based sustainable farming methods on all our crops. We use no pesticides in the field. We fertilize using cover crops as green manures, composted animal manures, and an organic foliar fertilizer made of fish and seaweed. To conserve water, we use drip irrigation with bioplastic mulch or landscape fabric on most crops. To improve soil health, we minimize tillage, rotate crops, and avoid double cropping. We control weeds by mulching, hoeing, and hand weeding. We minimize insect pest damage on crops using row covers and succession planting. These methods require extra work and planning, but it's worth it for us and our customers to know that our produce is as healthful as it can be and is grown in harmony with the environment. Eric Plaksin and Rachel Bynum, Waterpenny Farm.
I don't think I fully appreciated how great it was to grow up on a vegetable farm until I left for college and then came back. When you grow up on a farm, you have all this space to explore, all these resources to play with. You can do all these projects. You can make movies, you can juggle vegetables, you can build all these structures and Rube Goldberg machines. You're free to let your imagination run wild. Wizard battle on Waterpenny Farm. The battle of the squash wizards. The wizards get ready for their battle. The biggest battle of the year.
This is the battle of the century.
The wizard moves through the willow tree. The squash wizard moves wistfully through the willow tree. Nope, looks like you lost your hat there, buddy. Better pick
Wizard.
that up.
I hardly know where.
These wizards have some good spells and good squashes ready to go.
We better hope that none of them get squashed in this one. Whoever gets squashed is really a squash loser.
The door doesn't really latch, it sort of falls open all the time. Both of these wizards were some of the best in college squash wizardry, but now it's their chance to make it into the big league. Whoever wins this battle will prove themselves as one of the best wizards, squash wizards in the whole farm, and will have their chance to make it to the big game, the big championship.
I remember way back when I was a young squash wizard. Now I'm just an old, moldy squash commentator.
Squash.
Oh no! I've been squashed!
Growing food is very temporary, like we have to keep doing it. We can't just, we're not building houses or writing books or things that are there forever, In some ways, like our farm feels like an institution or something that's has some kind of legacy, but in other ways, as soon as we stop, like that's it. Like there's not going to be more food the next week whenever we stop doing it. And so the legacy is in the education or in other people who might continue farming in a similar way. In some ways, there's not really anything to show for it after the food is gone.
So there it is, Waterpenny Farm. I enjoyed growing up on Waterpenny Farm. It was a fun place to be throughout my childhood. Lots of great memories from the Waterpenny Farm. And I think I learned a lot this summer just asking my parents these questions about the farm. There were some questions that I didn't put in the movie because it was hard to edit them, but my parents told me so much about how they run the farm that I didn't really think about or know before while I was making this movie. If you can call it a movie, it's kind of just a bunch of stuff in a row. Maybe it's not really a movie, but it's something. I'm going to call it a movie. And there's a lot of stuff I didn't really put in this movie. I didn't talk about the CSA or the spring part with the plants. I didn't talk about like recipes, cooking the vegetables. But this is just a glimpse into part of the farm, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I know I sure did. I enjoyed my summer and my summers on Waterpenny Farm. And with that, thank you and good night, and we'll see you next week.